What it do, YouTube? It's your boy NYC Mike, man, and I'm back with another reaction video, man. Today I got another banger, man. We got Jordan Peterson debates a leftist, man. You know these people on the left, man, they be talking some bullshit, they be going crazy. You feel me? They always try to find any in and outs to prove their delusional claims. But you know, Jordan Peterson, he's the GOAT, you feel me? He always puts these people in their place. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, man, without further ado, man, we just gonna hop straight into the video.
Then why would the physician be criminal? Don't adults have that right if they want to transition?
Not everything legal isn't criminal. And do they have that right? See, I would have left Ellen Page alone if she hadn't been parading her new abs in a fashion magazine. How many kids do you think she can convince to convert? One?
Yeah.
1,000? No, not yeah.
No,
really?
I want to respond to that. I think that with the trans community, it's very similar to the gay community, where back when that first became a big issue, people thought, oh, if we talk about it, if it's in magazines or whatever, we're promoting kids to go down that path. But really what happened is people are who they are. And if they're gay, they just decided to be like, yeah, I'm gay. And they were just more open and honest with themselves. So I don't think you're promoting people to do that.
No, that's not what happened.
If you are that, it's okay. Okay, well,
you're utterly wrong. There's nothing about that that's right.
So explain.
Well, there's been an absolute look. One of the reasons that I opposed Bill C-16 in Canada to begin with, this pronoun-held speech bill.
This video's pissing me off already, man. This video is pissing me off already, man. For real, man. Because you're always going to have people that's going to justify these type of things, man. You're always going to have people that are going to make it seem like it's okay. Like, bruh. This video's pissing me off.
Was because I knew perfectly well what was going to happen when we introduced confusion about gender identity into the public sphere. Now, the argument was that if we left people with gender dysphoria alone to make their own way and stop torturing them, that we would decrease the mental health load on those individuals. And my analysis as a clinician was that for every one person of that sort that we hypothetically...
And you want to know what's crazy? A lot of people think gender dysphoria is not a real thing. It is. Gender dysphoria is a very real thing. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, that's what a lot of these transgender people go through. You know? All these transgender folks, they're all suffering from gender dysphoria. That's why they did the things that they did. You get what I'm saying? And then you got these delusional, twisted parents who are just leading their children into a space of hell that they'll never be able to crawl themselves out of ever again. You know what I'm saying? You literally have parents that's literally ruining their children's lives. You feel me? Because they're entertaining these type of delusions. You know what I'm saying? It's sad, man, and it's sickening. You feel me? And I hate when people say stuff like this is not a big deal. It is a big deal. It is a very big deal. You get what I'm saying? And I feel like everybody should be self-aware of all of this, man. Don't, listen. If you're watching this video right now, I want you to know, you have to be aware of what's going on in our society. You cannot just be walking around and act like none of this stuff is just happening and it just doesn't exist. Just because it's not affecting you yet, that doesn't mean that it's not an overall problem. You get what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying, man. You just have to be more self-aware. That's all I'm saying.
Save, we doom 1,000 more as a consequence of confusion and social contagion. I knew the literature on psychogenic epidemics. They used to call that mass hysteria. And it's a literature that goes back about 300 years. And often when you introduce social confusion, you can produce a psychogenic epidemic, especially among, generally it's adolescent females who are most susceptible to it. So I thought, oh, well, what's going to happen is we'll produce a psychogenic epidemic of gender dysphoria among adolescent females. And that is exactly what's happened. And it isn't the fact that we've freed up people who are in doubt about their identity to be who they are. That may have happened in a tiny minority of cases. It's absolutely and definitely the case that we've doomed thousands of kids to brutal, mutilating surgery and
Facts.
premature
Facts,
sterility.
man.
And we've done
Facts.
that on the altar of our hypothetical moral virtue.
None of that stuff is okay, man. A kid getting their body parts cut off just because they want to be something that they feel like, none of that is cool. None of that is okay. All right? And the people that say these type of things are okay and cool, they're weird. Those people are weirdos. Like, for real, those people are weirdos, man. And they need help. Because there's nothing okay with a kid getting their body parts cut off just because they feel a certain type of way. No.
And compassion. Look, I read a corporate analysis of the trans surgery industry last week. Growth rate projection for you lefty types and your anti-corporatism. Growth rate projection, 15% per year. Invest now. A $350 million business as of 2022, projected to expand to $750 million by 2027.
What percentage of the population do you think is going to end up being trans at the end of this? Do you think like one day it's going to be like 70% of the country is trans?
Well, we know already that about 1 in 5 adolescents now identifies, to use that hated word, identifies as part of the hypothetical LGBTQ plus community. So it's 1 in 5. I don't know what the upper limit is. There's a consulting group in the UK now that's claiming there's 150 different genders. There's actually, I suppose, 7 billion different genders, if you want to get technical about it, because everybody's...
What's going on with the UK? What's going on over there? Are you telling me the UK is just as delusional as America now? If not even worse? I thought America was worse. Oh my gosh, man. Oh man, this transgender stuff is really getting out of control. Like it's really, oh man. I'm homeschooling my kids. I'm homeschooling them so they won't be brainwashed or indoctrinated by any of this. And I really mean that too, because I don't like this at all. I really don't.
Temperament differs, but I don't know what the upper limit is, and I have no idea what the upper limit is for this surgical intervention. We'll see. But I don't find it. I don't find it the least bit acceptable. And if you think that your compassion is demanding that you extend your pity to the LGBTQ plus community at the cost of sterilizing children, you should think again. You're on the wrong side of this, and not in a trivial way.
I would appreciate if you don't ascribe beliefs to me that I don't have. Remember, my original question was
well, you said earlier in this question that
I said
you
Elliot Page is an adult, and so do you think that he has the right to transition?
But
that was the original
question. You made
some
comments after that. Yeah, but as a star and a public figure and a model for emulation, she also has the responsibility not to entice confused adolescents into a catastrophic decision before they have the maturity to make that decision.
I just have to say, Jordan, I think it's a little bit of a moral panic. I just don't see some sort of, frenzy of
what would you consider
to become trans.
First of all, that's a hell of a way to put it. Why don't you take a look at the increase in surgical interventions?
He obviously, this dude right here, man, he's obviously not self-aware, and he obviously does not understand how much these public figures and celebrities have an impact on the average person, specifically the average kid and teenager. You know what I'm saying? What Jordan Peterson is, in simple terms, trying to tell this dude is that you have to be self-aware and you have to be careful about what you say and promote online and in the public. You get what I'm saying? Because Elliot Page or whatever she's called or whatever, you feel me? Listen, right? Her posting those, what? Did she post nudes or something? Nah, it wasn't nudes, but she was on the magazine, right? She can't be doing stuff like that, man. Because you're gonna have kids that are out here thinking that it's okay to, be like that. When in reality, it's not. It's not cool. It's not cool at all. And that's what he's not understanding, man. You feel me? He's just looking at it like it's not a big deal. It's not that serious. No, it is a big deal. You don't understand the amount of impact that these public figures and celebrities have on people. You know what I'm saying? And you literally have people out here that look up to these celebrities and so much that they will legit copy what they do. There are people out here that will do that. They will copy what celebrities do. Now, me personally, I don't do that. I don't look up to nobody. You feel me? I don't believe in looking up to people. You feel me? I don't believe in that. Why would I look up to another human being? That doesn't make any sense.
And see what you think. I mean, how many do you think is too many?
Again,
how many? Wait, look, if we're talking about
I'll answer your question. The argument is it used to be very repressed because that's very outside of the tradition and the norm and the standard. And that now, we sort of let the boot off the neck a little bit.
Suppressed? What used to be suppressed?
The entire LGBTQ community. I mean, it was very recently we even got gay marriage in the United States.
First of all, they're not a community.
Well, you understand
the point I'm making. No, actually, neither I understand it nor you, and that's why we're delving into it. First of all, they're not a community.
Yo, bro, Jordan Peterson is getting in that ass.
Catchphrase. It's a buzzword.
Jordan Peterson is getting in that ass.
Almost all the kids who are undergoing surgical intervention, the clinical literature is absolutely clear on this. 80% of kids with gender dysphoria identify as homosexual when they mature. 80%. And that means the vast majority of people who are being converted surgically are gay. Now, how is that an advantage to the gay community precisely?
No, see, I'm not taking a position in any way, shape, or form on the kids because I don't know the first thing about this to comment on the kids. Well, but see, that's why we're having this conversation, though, is because my original question was about the adults and what your take is on the adults. And it sounds to me like, let me ask you a question. Would you ban transition surgery for adults?
I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, really. We're paying a big price for it, and I think that it was an act of stunning hubris to conduct the first trans surgery procedure. And it's not obvious to me at all that it's been a net social good. And
but aren't there some people that are obviously trans who were born in one body, they feel like they're in the other body, and when they're an adult, they can make the decision? And then even from just a freedom and liberty perspective, shouldn't they have that right? Even if they do it and then they regret it, shouldn't they have the right to try it? It's a good question. I mean, it's a tricky one, right? Because there's all sorts of surgical enhancement.
Now, me personally, I don't think you should do it. You feel me? I feel like you're ruining your life when you do it. But, I mean, hey. Who am I to tell you what you can and cannot do with your body, right? If you want to cut your body parts off, then that's you. You feel me? If you're an adult, that is. If you're my child, you're not, there's none of that going on. There's none of that happening. You feel me? Because I'm the parent and I decide what happens. You get what I'm saying? You are in a child's place. So in a child's place, you have to listen to the authority. The authority is your parents. Your parents can decide whether you go through that transition or not. Now, of course, regular sane people, regular sane parents are not going to allow their kids to do something as drastic as that. You get what I'm saying? Because you have to understand, man, for some of these kids, a lot of that stuff, or most of the time, it's just phases. These kids are just going through phases. They don't really know who they are. You get what I'm saying? Kids are not fully developed enough to even understand these type of concepts. You get what I'm saying? And when you as a parent, when you entertain these ideas into your kids' heads, it's as if you're allowing your kids to believe that what they feel is actually true when it's not. You get what I'm saying? You have to be the same parent to snap your kids back into reality. That is your job as a parent. You have to snap your kids back into reality. Don't let your kids live in that fantasy world forever. You get what I'm saying? You have to pull them back to reality. Because the reality is that Sally is a girl, not a boy. That is the reality. You get what I'm saying? I don't care if she says she feels like a boy. I don't care. She can say that all she wants. She's still a girl.
Procedures that are obviously, it's not obviously appropriate to make them illegal. And I don't know exactly where the cutoff line is, so to speak, and that's partly why we're having a public discussion about it. But this entire argument, in many ways, is stated so idiotically that it almost defies description. I mean, what do you mean, feel like you're in the wrong body? What kind of measurement is that? Now, hang on a sec. There are rules for these sorts of diagnostic decisions. Mm-hmm. Okay. The rule is that you have to make a valid and reliable diagnosis. That's if you're diagnosing depression or anxiety or obsessive compulsive disorder or cancer or anything like that. There are standards that you have to abide by in order to make a diagnosis, in order to fulfill the obligations of your professional college. If someone comes to you and says, I feel like I have lung cancer, that is not sufficient grounds upon which to formulate a diagnosis, much less proceed to surgery. Mm-hmm. And so the question is, what do you mean by feel? What is that? Is that an emotion? Is it a motivation? Is it a philosophical conclusion? What is it?
Let me explain to you what I mean. So I've been doing my show for about a decade, and about 2 or 3 years into doing my show, there were, some stories here and there that I covered about the trans issue. Somebody who is trans reached out to me and explained to me in a very straightforward way, yeah, look, I was born biologically female. I feel like I'm biologically male. My reality.
What does that mean?
Well, I'm just explaining what they said, and then you can respond however you'd like to respond. And they told me as soon as I got the surgery, changed the way I dressed, changed the way I appeared, I felt phenomenally better. And so that's why, at least for me, this was the answer. Now, I think it would be incredibly arrogant for me to say back to that person, no, you shouldn't do that, or I know better than you do for yourself. And that's not to say that every time somebody does this, it works out well, of course, because everybody's an individual. But in some instances, that's the answer. So, me as a simple outsider, I just look at it and say, hey, whatever floats your boat, and if it works, it works.
Look, most of the time, my attitude is you can go to hell in handbasket any way you choose if you're an adult. Now, this problem is complicated and compounded by the fact of the necessity of medical involvement and the ethics on the medical front. So when you asked me about how that should be regulated, my answer was I'm not exactly sure about that. Yeah, although it isn't obvious to me that it's obvious to me that the trans surgery enterprise has gone way too far, thousands of people too far.
Unbelievable, man. But yeah, man, that's the end of this video, man. Jordan Peterson, he's the GOAT as always. You feel me? He has yet to lose a debate with anybody on the left. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, I'm gonna see y'all on the next video, and I'm out.